Gary, you know, if I really thought you were a saint, or if you were a Buddhist monk or something, in your house meditating all day for enlightenment, I'd be content to leave you in there forever. I'd say, leave Gary alone. He's doing his thing. Leave him alone. But you're not a saint, all right? A real holy fool would never deny Christ the way you do. The behavior of a holy fool can be shocking. They can seem crazy. It can be subversive. They might even behave in ways that are pretty unpleasant, but they wouldn't deny Christ the way you do. I said those things about you to try to get you and other people to look at you in a different way. I thought it would kind of shock people out of their complacency in the way they look at you. Like, oh, the fluffy kitness thinks this guy is a saint. and you know, to an extent, it worked. I mean, look at Brett Keane here. That last video he made about you, he hated your guts. He was calling you a death cult leader, and I mean, technically that's what you are. That's kind of the messed up part. I think you even realize that. But now he's looking at you in a different way. He likes you, and I consider that an achievement, because the guy hated your guts. Now he doesn't. It just goes to show a persuasive argument can change people's minds. And I have to assume that if Brett changed his mind about you, maybe other people did too. But you haven't. The one person who I was trying to reach, I failed to reach. So that whole video, really, I mean, it wasn't a waste of time. I changed some minds. So it wasn't a waste of time. But I didn't change the one mind that mattered.
This video hurt me a lot, but I watched the whole thing. Well, I appreciate that. I'm sorry about the hurt. I didn't really mean to hurt your feelings. I'm really just attacking a part of you.
Gary, is that really what you think? You you think the reason I said your video hurt me is because my feelings were hurt? What from you making fun of the sound of my voice, or saying my beliefs are stupid, or whatever the hell you said that you think might have hurt my feelings? Gary, I've been a lol cow on YouTube just like you for 10 years. I have an Encyclopedia Dramatica entry just like you. Insults don't hurt my feelings. I'm like a professional NBA player standing at the foul line with people shouting, "Miss, you suck." I don't fucking care. Gary, you want to know why the video hurt me? This is why.
I'm trying to do my best, and my best isn't nearly good enough, and I'll keep saying that. So the only thing I deserve is maybe not to have my grave pissed on, but I don't deserve flowers, or I don't deserve anybody saying anything nice.
You know, I used to see the world the same way that you did, Gary. I believed that death was simply the end of consciousness, that I would die and be greeted by oblivion. Well, there'd be no greeting. I mean, it would just be oblivion. And I acknowledged all the suffering in our lives. I wasn't unaware of any of that. I think you know that. So why didn't I get on board with Ephilism back in those days? Why didn't I become one of your acolytes then, when I basically had the same metaphysical viewpoint that you do? Because I have less integrity. All right, your little underlings that keep coming to my video comments and saying, "How dare you talk to Gary? He has so much more integrity than you do." Like I don't know that. You know, I didn't care enough about the suffering in the world to want to see the experiment of human consciousness come to an end. It didn't bother me enough. It didn't hurt me enough that there were people in pain to want to just see all this end. I was having too much fun watching the Freak Show. You know, I think you said a couple videos back, if there was some TV show with gladiators hacking themselves to bits, you would watch it, because how do you not watch? Those were your words, just how do you not watch? Well, exactly. That was kind of my viewpoint back in the day. It's like, you know, even if life is horrifying, it's kind of fun to watch. Who cares? So yeah, like, I don't need people telling me that you have more integrity than I do. I know that. I'm aware of that. I know that you're an ascetic who's suffering for what you believe. I know that if a person genuinely believes the things you claim to believe and sees the world that you do, that your philosophy does therefore become the only moral choice to make. The problem is, your philosophy isn't a philosophy, it's a disposition. It's an attitude. Because it doesn't make any unique truth claims that anybody else is denying. Nobody denies that there's suffering in the world. Nobody denies that life ends inevitably with death. You haven't discovered some rare privileged truth that the rest of us don't know. You're just more butthurt about it than anybody else in the world. And it's taking a high cost on you. You want to know why I say your philosophy has no value, Gary? Because you're not happy. Your fucking life sucks. You're throwing your life away. For nothing. You're not achieving enlightenment, not like a Buddhist monk. You're not suffering for Christ and the sins of the world alone in your house. You're suffering for nothing. You're suffering for nothing. Gary, in 2006, you know, I shouldn't even tell you this, because it's probably just going to hurt your feelings. You know, because the truth is, I mean, I was a kid back then, okay? I was a shithead, all right? But you were kind of a joke to me. Not the most mean-spirited joke in the world. It was just funny to me to picture you in random places to kind of make myself laugh. Just picture Gary in everyday situations, and it would crack me up. Like, I would... You know, like, I'll just be going about my day, right? It's just a random day. I'm doing whatever, and suddenly I would get these images in my head of in Mendham riding the roller coaster at Disneyland, you know, and just cussing out all the little kids. Stop taking up all the cotton candy resources, you stupid fucks. You know, like, I would just picture you in random everyday situations, just being yourself and being an asshole. It would crack me up. Like, I would picture you like in the Playland at a McDonald's. Or like you at like some kid's birthday party or something. Like, hey kids, we've got a treat for you right from YouTube. It's in Mendham. Yay, in Mendham. You little fucks. Like, I would crack up just, you know, thinking about you, thinking about the contrast of a personality as extreme as yours in everyday normal situations, and like, how would people react to this? Like, what would this group of people in this average everyday scenario do if you were to throw in Mendham into the mix, right? You know, and that was 2006, and it's 2016 now, Gary, and you know, I still have those just random fantasies. Like, I just imagine you in situations like you standing in line at the bank, or at like amusement parks or fucking whatever, and you know, but it's not funny anymore, because I know it's never gonna happen. Like, you're just gonna die in that fucking house alone. you're just. I mean, look, there's people on YouTube who like me, maybe a handful of them, like one or two, right? And most people here think I'm a loser. They think, whatever. But because I don't have a lot of money, and by any objective measure, I haven't done a lot with my life. But I can look back over the past 10 years since I started making videos here, and I mean, what a roller coaster ride. I've been through so much. I've learned things about myself. I've been through traumatic things and wonderful things. I've been places. I've seen crazy shit. I've done crazy shit. I've formed relationships. I've lost them. I've loved. I've lost. I've done. I've progressed. I've changed. And you're still where you were 10 years ago, Gary. You're still saying the same shit. You're still doing the same shit. You're in a time capsule. And I just keep. I mean, imagine if you worked in an office, okay, and you go into the office. And on your way to your cubicle, you look in another cubicle, and one of your coworkers is, sitting there sick, obviously deathly ill. The guy's sweating, he's shaking, his eyes are rolling back in his head, he's in bad shape. And you're like, well, this doesn't look good, but it's none of my business, whatever, I guess I'll just do my thing. So you sit down at your little workstation, you start typing your TPS reports or whatever, and then the next day you come back, and the guy's even sicker. And nobody notices, nobody's saying anything. You come back the next day, and there's a dead body in the cubicle. It's the guy sitting there dead, right? And you're looking around. Like you're looking from one cubicle to the next, and everybody's just sitting there with their headsets on, typing on their little workstation there, having little water cooler conversations. Oh, did you see the game last night? Hey, how'd your date go, man? And there's a dead body just sitting there, and then you come back to work the next day, and the next, and the next, and putrefaction starts to set in. There's maggots crawling on this corpse, right? And everybody else is just still having casual conversation. Oh, hey, did you watch the debates last night? Did you see the new Game of Thrones? And there's a corpse. That these people are having conversations about random shit, brushing flies away from their faces, not even noticing the stench. That's what YouTube is like for me, Gary. People ask me why I don't come on here and make videos anymore. I keep wondering when somebody is gonna fucking say something. And, it's like I'm in the Twilight Zone. And Gary, it's okay. Before I start, I turned the microphone off for a second. I had to collect my thoughts. I haven't had a lot of sleep, man. If I slur my speech or drift off into daydreams, I mean, I've been up for days, okay, and I've been at work all night. I'm trying to keep it together here. You could still have a life. You could have a family. You could have a wife, children, people. Gary, what kills me about this the most is that we really are looking at the same thing. I like you used the example of a sunflower. Like, you and I are both looking at the same sunflower, and you see a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I see something else. I can't remember the examples you used. That's what is driving me nuts about this, is that we're looking at the same thing. Okay, I acknowledge that the Big Bang happened. I believe that the source of life on Earth was abiogenesis, and that that evolution is the process through which life gradually gained greater and greater complexity and biological diversity. We're looking at the same picture. It's the same world, Gary. So why do you see something so much more horrifying? It doesn't make sense. And there's something missing from the puzzle. There's a missing piece of the puzzle for you. There's a piece you can't see. You're colorblind to a part of the spectrum that everybody else can see. There's a flaw in your philosophy. And all right, hold on. I need to collect my thoughts. All right, here's a comment from my last video. This is by Great Helm. And Great Helm, don't take anything personally, okay? Because I love reading your comments. I like having you as a subscriber, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say, all right? Great Helm says this. He says, Gary is highly principled. He has always lived his beliefs. Yeah, I'm aware of that. His Ephelist philosophy is incredibly airtight and logically consistent. All right, step back, son. Nothing is airtight, okay? There is a flaw in everything. It's the only thing airtight is the perfect tent not made by hands. That's it. Because any philosophy created by men is doomed to fail from the outset, because we exist in a fallen state, and has not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? And Gary, I've already found the flaw in your philosophy. All right? I found the inconsistency. I found it years ago. See, this little chess match of ours, we're already in the end game, and you didn't even realize it. All I have to do is press my advantage for the checkmate. Here's your inconsistency right here. Here's the chink in your airtight philosophy. I found it. It's her. You want to release me from my moral obligation to try to help you, Gary? You want me to stop making these videos and give up? Then you can do that really simply. It's easy. Just say you don't care about her. Say she's just a slut, right? Captain Awesome's dick was there. Fake Sagan's dick was there. That's it. She's just a fuckbag. That's all you have to say, Gary. Say she's just a sentient bag of meat and organs, like every other generic human being, and she has an aesthetically pleasing exterior that elicits a instinct to procreate in you, and that's all there is, nothing more. She just gets your dick hard, and that's it. That's all you have to tell me. That's all you have to say. But you can't. You can't say that, Gary. You can't bring yourself to slander the one thing that's sacred to you. You'll get up on these videos and just take a giant shit on what everyone else considers holy. But the one thing that's sacred to you, you can't bring yourself to slander it. But you also can't see it. You know, you'll you'll brag a good game about how generous you are. You know, you'll get on camera and tell us you're a generous guy. Oh yeah, somebody could come up, I'll give him $500. I don't expect to be paid back. I've done this 100 times. You'll get up on camera and you'll tell us how kind you are. Oh yeah, I feed cats all the time. Yeah, I'd love to care for a possum or a raccoon, but they're a little bit too wild. I can't do that. But I'm a very kind guy. Okay, so you'll tell us that you're kind. So you'll tell us that you're generous. But you won't boast of your acumen as a lover. You won't admit that you love Ocean. It's you have to cheapen it. You have to pretend it's crude and crass. Your words, crude and crass, right? That she has a wonderful flair for the performance art of being human. That she's brave and curious enough to walk up to aliens and say hello. But that's crude and crass, right? You're colorblind to something that everybody else can see. You know, nobody else is coming in my comments section telling me I'm deluded or naive about your feelings for Ocean. Not one single person has said, you're seeing something that isn't there, Fluffy Kitness. He doesn't love her at all. He just wants to stick his dick in her. And you think it's love? Pfft, how naive is this guy? This guy, everybody. Nobody's doing that, Gary. Everybody can see the truth but you. You're the only one. You're the only one. Why can't you just say you love her? Just say you love Christine. You know, I don't think I've heard you use the word love in the 10 years that you've been here. You know, in the past 3 videos I made to you, every single one of them I said I loved you, and you've responded piecemeal to every other damn thing I said. You responded with a paragraph's worth of responses to every other word that left my mouth in those 3 videos I made to you, and you haven't acknowledged once that I said I love you. You can't, can you? It doesn't fit in your philosophy. It's an inconsistency. Why can't you see what everybody else sees about you and Ocean Avani? Why can't you recognize it? Simple, Gary. Because the love of a man for a woman comes from his soul. But you don't have one of those, right? That doesn't fit into your philosophy. So hence you're blind to a fact that everybody else can see. Gary, part of me, okay, the worst part, the shittiest part of me, wants to just wash my hands of you and walk away. Alright? The selfish part of me is crying out, please, Lord, don't call on me to save Gary's soul. Don't make me carry this cross, Lord, it's too heavy. But I can't walk away. You know, in your video you said that your most recent, not your most recent video, you made like 3, and I did watch them all, like Lord of the Flies on the Butt of Humanity or whatever it was called. Your titles are stupid. But it was the last one that mentioned me by name, like Fake Sagan Loves Tyranny Part 5 or whatever. You know, you said you don't even, cats annoy you, okay? Like you wish you could just ignore them because having to take care of them, like, you really don't like them that much. They just kind of, they're an annoyance. They kind of bug you, but when you look at one, you just get an emotional response. They're sympathetic to you, so you can't help wanting to take care of them, even though it's an imposition. Well, Gary, you're my stray cat. I can't walk away. I can't just leave a pure soul to suffer in isolation, trapped inside of a diseased mind. Not when I know the real you is in there. I can't just do it. So is this it? Is this the welcome to hell moment for me? I mean, is this the point where a unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and when we're just gonna have this chess match for the rest of our lives? I'm gonna debate you forever. Release me, Gary. Just say she doesn't mean shit to you. Say Ocean is just a sexy piece of ass, and you don't care. But you can't. You can't do it. You also can't acknowledge the fact that it's the divine in you that calls out to the divine in her. You can't face that. You fancy yourself a man who's not afraid to face hard truths that the rest of us are too weak for, right? But I found the truth that you can't face. Gary, for one thing, I'm going to make a request right now, alright? Never fucking call me Fake Sagan again. Don't fucking call me Fake Sagan. And don't call me the Fluffy Kittenist either. My name is Christopher Anderson, and you've known me for 10 years. You watched me grow up. Alright? Half of the people that I know in my daily life, I haven't known as long as I've known you. You and I love the same woman. We're family. You're my family, Gary. I mean, and the stuff you've been saying in your videos. Oh, Fake Sagan wants to talk about personal shit. I'm up here to talk about philosophy. Fuck you. We can't talk about personal shit. You and I can't talk about personal shit after all this time? After all these years? I'm the closest thing to family you've got. If you can't talk to me about personal shit, who the hell can you talk to? Gary, what have we all been doing on here for the past 10 years if not trying to change the world each in our own way? To try to make it a better place, according to our own unique visions, right? But, who the hell are we to get up here on camera and tell other people how to live their lives when we haven't even tended to our own house? Look at us. We don't even acknowledge each other's problems. I mean, we're going to fix the world and we can't even fix one another? What are we doing, Gary? This is ridiculous. I'm not gonna let this stand. I'm not gonna let you die alone in that fucking house. Just tell me what you need me to do, Gary. Fine. The self-help bullshit didn't work. It's not like I was naive enough to think it was going to be that simple that I would give you a mantra for meditation or tell you to start censoring your negative thoughts and then you'd walk out of the house the next day and a healthy, happy, well-adjusted guy and everything would be happily ever after. I knew it was going to take more work than that, but what do I have to do? You want me to go C.S. Lewis on your ass? Concoct a scholarly point-by-point refutation of Ethylism? Is that what it's going to take? Would that change anything, Gary? Tell me what you need. Please. What do you need, Gary? Tell me what to do.